welcome to TrojanVision Spring Semester in Review. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. And over the next hour, we'll take a look back at the events and happenings from the spring semester. Well, Troy University officially kicked off the school's newest construction project in January, breaking ground on what will become a nearly 78,000 square foot student recreation and wellness center. Paige Weeks has the story.
This dream now has become and will become a reality.
Friday morning marked the start of a project that many past and present Troy University leaders have been preparing for years. Troy officials held a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the official start of construction for the university's new Student Recreation Center. The Rec Center was spearheaded by past and present student government associations.
Students far before me have worked really hard to advocate for this new center, and we're finally seeing some of that come to life.
With the completion of the new facility, the SGA says it hopes that it will not only excite current Troy students, but also potential students looking for schools.
When students come on their tours here and they see this rec center, they're going to fall in love with it, just like we've fallen in love with even the idea of it. So we're so excited, and we think it will really add in our enrollment.
The facility will be jam-packed with amenities that students can enjoy. Inside will be a swimming pool, a track, weight and cardio rooms, a yoga deck, and even a smoothie bar.
It's going to be full of all kinds of amenities that students are really going to enjoy.
Even now, students are excited to see the new facility and begin taking advantage of everything it has to offer.
I think it's going to make it a better school. Like, people are going to be more interested in coming to Troy if they see that we have an awesome rec center. Like, people are going to be like, wow, that's a great thing to have at a school, and that's going to interest them to want to come and apply to be a student here.
Now that the groundbreaking ceremony is over, construction can officially begin here on Troy's campus. Students can expect to see their newly renovated rec center in the fall of 2019. Paige Weeks, Troy, TrojanVision News.
This semester, Troy University started an initiative to reward acts of kindness displayed by members of the Troy University family. Paige Weeks introduces us to the first Trojan recognized.
On Wednesday afternoon, Troy University presented its first ever Trojan Heart Award designed to recognize acts of kindness in the Trojan community.
It's to celebrate the wonderful community we have here at Troy University. It goes to a student, faculty, or staff that really embodies the heart to feel and the body to act. And that comes from our motto when we were first established. And we want to celebrate good deeds or good work in the community, and they get $1,000 for their nonprofit of choice.
The winner of the first Trojan Heart was Ashley Calloway, a student on Troy's Dothan campus. She was recognized for her work with the Chick Time charity in the Dothan area, a group that assists with the Baptist Children's Home.
So we are, Dothan is one of almost 50 chapters across the country that helps women connect to volunteer opportunities in their own communities where they can serve women and children of abuse. So each chapter serves one charity partner once a month for every month of the year, and you go and you mentor, do different activities with the kids or the women, just really try to be the bright spot in their lives, the fun aunt for the day.
As the winner, Calloway's $1,000 will go toward Chick Time, and she says it will make for a great day for the Children's Home residents.
Our ABCH babies are about to get spoiled. We're gonna, we always, anytime we have any type of donation, we always turn around and spend it on them, help fund maybe a field trip, Christmas gifts, just doing something fun just to make their day a little bit better.
The Trojan Heart Award was initiated by Troy University First Lady Janice Hawkins, who said the winner far exceeded expectations.
It's what I hoped for. It isn't really what I expected because it's so much bigger. You know, I'm thinking in terms of an act of kindness that someone happened upon, or the organizations, the Greek system and what the ATOs just did in that march for the wounded warriors. I'm thinking like that. And these three finalists and the one that won, it's just beyond my imagination that they're doing that plus getting a degree.
Hawkins says this will be the first of many Trojan Heart Awards given by the school. Paige Weeks, Troy, TrojanVision News.
In March, the Troy University Athletics Hall of Fame expanded by 8 members. Brianna Jones gives us a look at the newest class of inductees to the Hall of Fame.
If there's one thing you didn't know about Troy,
we at Troy have proven
that straight out of here you can go to the NFL, you can go to Major League Baseball, you can go to the biggest businesses in the world. You can go anywhere you want to from Troy, Alabama.
It seems that Ash is right because him, along with 7 other former Trojans, were all inducted into the Hall of Fame on Saturday evening, and some of them shared how this accomplishment feels.
I mean, it's great. It's everything, that I always dreamed of and everything I always, expect of myself of coming here. I mean, it was great. It could have been even much greater. If you think about all the touchdowns they called back or whatever, it could have been even much crazier. So I could have been up for a Heisman if everything would have went out right.
This is a tremendous honor for all of us. We had a little get-together today during T-Day football, and, everybody, it's a time to tell stories and reminisce and, obviously thank the people that have helped us all.
During former head coach time spent here at Troy, he led the Trojans to 3 Sun Belt championships, also being named Coach of the Year twice, and he posted a record of 395 and 256. He reminisces on the time he spent as a Trojan.
I get to reflect quite a bit on not only the career, but the 13 years that we spent at Troy, which were a fantastic 13 years for myself and my family. Just tremendous times. And so when you sit back and you have time now, when you retire, you have time to reminisce and reflect a lot more. So that makes nights like tonight even more special.
Fans can now see the 8 new names displayed in Trojan Arena's main lobby. Brianna Jones, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Helen Keller is known as one of Alabama's most famous residents based on her success in life despite physical limitations. And every year, Troy University welcomes individuals to campus who reflect that spirit at the Helen Keller Lecture. Antonia Reese has the details.
That morning, Troy University hosted its annual Helen Keller Lecture Series. This year marked the 23rd year the lecture has taken place on the campus of Troy University. The guest speakers for the event were a cornea transplant recipient named Cameron Stovall and the ophthalmologist who performed his operation, Dr. Robert Morris. Stovall was involved in a freak accident that caused him to lose one of his 5 senses for a period of time.
Keep it short, I was in a hunting accident. I lost my vision, and I've experienced a lot of things that I never thought I would experience. I was 26 at the time, and when all this happened, and I had 20/20 vision. I had a great job, and the adversity that I had when I woke up in the hospital and had no vision, had tubes down my throat, it was shocking to me.
The very same day of Cameron Stovall's accident, he was told alongside his parents that he would never see again. However, this was far from correct. Stovall recovered with his parents right by his side. His mother Mary discusses how her son came into contact with Dr. Morris.
We actually had seen several doctors, probably 5, 6, 7 doctors in the ICU who had determined that Cameron would not have any vision at all. He would be totally blind the rest of his life. And then Dr. Morris came on the scene, and he did his first surgery about 7 days after the initial accident.
Well, Cam had shotgun pellets enter and exit both eyes, and one eye the pellet went out through the optic nerve, so that eye didn't have a chance. In the other eye, the pellet went out adjacent to the optic nerve, so that eye we were able to get, after 17 operations, we were able to get back half his eyesight. And that makes a difference for the rest of his life. For the next 50 years of his life, he won't be walking with a white cane, he'll be walking on his own.
Stovall discussed how although he would love to have his eyesight back, he has been able to encourage so many people on a daily basis just by going through his accident and keeping a good attitude about the entire process of his recovery. Antonia Reese, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University gives an author the Hall Waters Prize every year, and the latest recipient was recognized, and it was an author with a deep Troy connection. Seth Hawk gives us a look at this year's recipient.
Friday afternoon, the newest recipient of the Hall Waters Award was given to Ace Atkins. Atkins is a New York Times best-selling author who has written over 20 novels in the crime fiction genre, and he's the son of the second most winningest Troy football coach, Billy Atkins. And according to Atkins, this award is the best homecoming he could have asked for.
Well, this is not only a nice honor for me, but also a very personal honor as well. I was actually born in Troy, and my father actually used to be the head coach here back in the 1960s and early 1970s, so it's kind of a homecoming of sorts for me.
Atkins didn't originally plan on becoming an author, but thanks to his job before he became an author, he had plenty of things to write about.
I used to be a reporter, and I was a reporter for many years. I used to cover the crime beat, and I used to have to go to murders and bank robberies and that kind of stuff. And I said, this is pretty good fodder for writing novels, and I love the South, and so kind of combining those two worlds of writing about the crime in the Deep South.
According to Atkins, there are some misconceptions about the life of an author, and it does not come without its challenges, and that includes having the motivation to work.
There are days that you don't want to do it, but you just have to suck it up and get your coffee and go to work. And some people think it's an easy job, but it's actually something you have to work at every day.
And for those that are looking for the next Ace Atkins crime fiction novels, his new work will be released in the coming months.
The next book comes out. I've got a book called Old Black Magic, and that book will be out on May 1st. And then I actually have a second book coming out this year called The Sinners, and that book will be out on July 17th.
Some of Atkins' family still lives in Troy to this day. Seth Hawk, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Early in the semester, Troy University Chancellor Jack Hawkins joined leaders from across the state in gathering at the Alabama State House to call for the state to create a day honoring civil rights icon Rosa Parks. Helen has the details from our Montgomery News Bureau.
Please let us honor this woman. It started in Montgomery. It started in Alabama. What happens in Alabama affects the whole nation.
Rosa Parks supporters gathered at the Alabama State House to rally for Rosa Parks Day to be implemented. Supporters of the bill want Rosa Parks Day to be recognized as a holiday on December 1st of every year. Chancellor Jack Hawkins of Troy University spoke out about his support for this bill.
You don't have many opportunities in life to meet an icon, but in the 1990s when we were introduced to Miss Parks, as we were planning and ultimately building and opening the Rosa Parks Museum, we had a good bit of contact with her. And most great people are humble people. And she was an extremely humble person, more focused on the people around her than on herself. And I think, you can understand how she had the deep-seated courage to do what she did. But she truly changed the history of our country and ultimately the world around her.
Troy students also attended the rally and gave students some advice on what they can do.
It would be a mark of positive change and a mark of meaning that we can honor someone who worked every day of her life for the good of the person ahead of her or for the good of the person next to her. I think it would be wonderful, and I personally would take my day out of my time on December 1st to celebrate her life and her legacy.
State legislator Laura Hall and Senator Vivian Figures have sponsored bills in both the House and Senate to designate December 1st Rosa Parks Day in Alabama. In Montgomery, Helen, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And in February, another veteran of the civil rights movement was recognized as Troy native and U.S. Congressman John Lewis was celebrated by his hometown. Paige Weeks gives us a look at John Lewis Day.
Saturday marked a historic day for Pike County as the boy from Troy returned home for a celebration all about him. Representative John Robert Lewis was greeted by members of the community as well as Pike County and Troy University officials who were gathered to celebrate what was deemed as John Lewis Day.
We're so proud to be the home of Congressman John Lewis, and we're just going to look forward to enjoying the day and giving him the honor he is so due.
Although Lewis's connection to Troy has been recognized in the past, officials decided it was time for a more formal recognition.
To be able to thank him in person and every day to be able to call him colleague, I know is a gift from God, and it's important that those of us who are beneficiaries of the movement, that we pay it forward.
Although Lewis has been celebrated countless times over the years, to have a permanent fixture here in his hometown of Troy is something he says he'll never forget.
I've seen markers in cities and towns, on highways all across America, but I never dreamed that there would be a marker for me in Troy, Alabama. But I'm reminded every day that I am the boy from Troy.
Lewis not only had a day named after him, he was also presented a key to the city of Troy, as well as an historic marker that will be placed in downtown Troy across from the City Hall. Paige Weeks, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And before Lewis was honored by the city, he served as the keynote speaker at this year's leadership conference celebrating African American history at Troy University. Lydia Williams has the details.
On Friday night, Congressman John Lewis returned to his hometown to speak at Troy University's 17th Annual African American Leadership Conference.
When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something.
During Lewis's speech, he encouraged the youth by explaining how the future of America and the future of the planet depends on them. However, he did mention what he hoped students gained from his speech.
Well, it's my hope that students tonight will be inspired, that they will be lifted.
His speech highlighted many key points of what he faced during the civil rights movement, such as Bloody Sunday, and he left a long-lasting impression on some Troy students.
I gained a lot of leadership skills listening to John Lewis. He was very influential and very inspirational from all of his stories, and it just made me realize that as long as you are selfless when you want to make a change in the world, you can do anything you put your mind to.
And one student plans to use Lewis's advice in the future.
It gave me a purpose on continuing my dreams and everything I need to do. When something is wrong, speak up, and if you need to make a change, try to do that, because it's needed in the community as well as the whole world right now.
Lydia Williams, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And Lewis wasn't the only member of Congress to speak at the conference. Alabama's first African-American woman elected to Congress closed out this year's conference. Anna Kate Patterson has the details.
Troy University's 17th Annual Leadership Conference celebrating African American History Month took place this weekend. This year's theme was Change Agents, civically engaged, academically oriented, and financially capable. Much of the weekend celebrated Georgia's 5th District Representative and Troy native John Lewis. In the closing ceremony, keynote speaker, Alabama's 7th District Representative Terry Sewell, says it was a fitting theme to celebrate such an exemplary man.
I am really excited to be here with my colleague and friend John Lewis. I know that I wouldn't be walking the halls of Congress if it hadn't been for the sacrifices that he and other freedom fighters made. And so it's especially humbling for me to be a part of the program today.
Sewell spoke specifically on civic engagement and the importance of getting involved in your community and politics.
That ordinary people can collectively working together in a nonviolent way can achieve extraordinary social change. And that's really what it's about.
And though many agree America has made strides since the civil rights movement, Sewell says there's still more to be done.
People forget that progress is elusive. And so every generation has to fight for the gains that have been made and also pay it forward. And in doing so, we make this world a better place.
And she has a message for those who may be waiting for the next big civil leader.
So often we wait for a savior when we are the saviors we're waiting for.
After the luncheon, the attendants of the conference were invited to the Troy Public Library to take part in the official John Lewis Day ceremony. Anna Kate Patterson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The National Memorial for Peace and Justice opened in Montgomery in April, and a big part of the memorial focuses on lynchings and the terror associated with the act. A Troy University class is helping add to the memorial with a project that sent them to the site of one of those lynchings. Antonio Reese explains why.
Over the weekend, one Troy University professor led her class to help dig up a little history. Dr. Catherine Tucker, alongside a few of her students from her African American experience class, visited a known lynching site of Jericho Shivers, a man who was lynched in Coffee County, Alabama, believed to be on May 18, 1895.
We are collecting soil that will be added to the Equal Justice Initiative Museum and Memorial to Lynching. They are having people collect soil from lynching sites all over the South to commemorate those individuals who are often accused of crimes that they did not commit, were not given any kind of trial or justice, so we're hoping to commemorate those individuals, and also to help people understand the impact of lynching and racial violence on the world that we live in today.
Tucker, alongside her students, gathered soil samples that will be added to a number of other samples in a museum set to commemorate past African Americans that were lynched across the state. A few students expressed how they felt aiding in the project.
This project is so amazing that we get to come out here and just be a small part of something that's way bigger than ourselves. Just getting to experience the lives of people that we have never met, know anything about, but we get to learn about them out here and just be a part of something that's way bigger than ourselves.
I feel like this is a very special occasion. I feel like I'm a part of a big history part. It might not have been big to the people around here, but it's kind of big to me because Black history means a lot to a lot of people, and it actually means a lot to me too.
A soil sample is also collected to be displayed in Lurleen B. Wallace Library in its own exhibit. Antonio Reese, Troy, TrojanVision News.
In January, Troy students were able to find out about the relationship between the U.S. and Russia during the Cold War. Former U.S. Ambassador Matlock spoke on campus about his time serving during the Cold War. Joshua Thomas has the details.
On Thursday, Troy students had the opportunity to listen to former U.S. Ambassador Matlock Jr. speak on America's relationship with Russia during and after the Cold War, and also the current tensions we face today.
Well, I was really talking about the idea that we're in a new Cold War with Russia, and I tried to explain that what our relations with Russia are not like the previous Cold War, and that I thought the current hostility is not good for us, and that we should try to improve relations.
One student who attended the lecture discussed how she felt it was a great chance to hear the experience of someone who worked with both sides.
So the ambassador Matlock came and explained us his perception about the relation we have right now with Russia and what happened in the past. And I thought that was really, really a great experience to have a knowledge from someone who worked with the Russian government and the American government and who have a historical background to share about.
Matlock says he hopes students are now able to better understand the true history of the Cold War and learn from it.
I would hope that the students would gain maybe a different view of recent history from the one that many people hold. You know, when I describe how we ended the Cold War to my students at Duke, and the fact it was not a victory, but a negotiation, they come out after my lecture and saying, gee, that's not what they taught me in high school.
Joshua Thomas, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Trojan football fans will have a new way to experience the action in Veterans Memorial Stadium this fall, as a massive new video board will sit atop a north end zone facility in the stadium. And even though the project is still a few months from completion, the scoreboard is already fired up. Janae Jordan gives us a look.
Last season, the Trojan fans broke records at Veterans Memorial Stadium, coming out to cheer on the Trojans. And with more fans, there's a need for more space for not only the fans, but for the athletes and the coaching staff. So the athletic department decided to add a new north end zone to accommodate everyone's needs.
The north end zone project for us, it's about a $25 million project that started almost 15 months ago now, and we're nearing completion. We should finish the project in the summer, but it's going to be, for the most part, it's a football operations building that will serve our football team, a locker room, athletic training space, strength and conditioning, nutrition, team space, meeting rooms, coaches' offices, really a space that we've needed for many years.
The new north end zone will be equipped with a new video board, seating, concession, and a club area for premium members.
On top of the building, again, we've created a new video board on top of that building, which is going to be a great addition to our in-game environment. Under that video board is a concessions, high-end concession, a club area to go along with about 400 premium seats we're going to have in that end zone. And so it'll be a ticketed area where the people, season ticket holders who have tickets will be really the only people allowed up there.
As you can see behind me, construction for the new north end zone is still taking place. It is set to be finished in the summertime, and there will be a grand opening for the north end zone against Boise State at the first home game at Veterans Memorial Stadium.
We've got a great home schedule. I think we're going to be in a position to have another successful year. Our coaches and our students are working really hard right now to prepare themselves for the fall, and so I'm excited about this season coming up.
Troy University is looking to update more areas of the athletic department as needed. As of now, the main focus is to finish the north end zone. Janae Jordan, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Every year, hundreds of students from colleges and universities around the state gather in Montgomery to celebrate Higher Education Day. And of course, Troy University was among that number. Paige Weeks had the opportunity to talk with some Trojans about their participation in the rally.
Among the hundreds of college students cheering in the streets of downtown Montgomery on Thursday was a strong contingent of cardinal-clad Trojans. They marched alongside students from other Alabama colleges and gathered on the front steps of the State House to show their support for higher education.
Events like this give us an opportunity to come together as a unit and to really display how important it is to us for our legislators to vote for budgets that support higher education.
Higher Ed Day wasn't all work, though. The day was filled with cheers, chants, stories, and a sense of unity among its participants.
It's an incredible atmosphere. It's high energy. Everyone's really excited to be here. We had a parade earlier. There was a band. People were chanting. There's a lot of school pride here, and we're all just really excited to be here and advocate for our schools.
But what happens when students, specifically students from rivalry schools, come face to face?
Whether students were wearing orange and blue, crimson and white, or cardinal and black, today on Capitol Hill, rivalries meant nothing.
There are those friendly rivalries going on, but at the end of the day, we are all here because we care so much about our universities, and we know that we are stronger together than we are apart.
And throughout all the fun, at the end of the day, legislators were made aware of what college students want and need so that progress can continue to be made.
It's a great opportunity for them to network, to also, really discuss the needs of our university and ensure that our legislators know those needs.
Radio communication is on the way for Troy University Police. A new grant is supplying University Police with equipment that will better connect the department with other agencies around the state. Paige Weeks shows us how.
Troy University's campus police station is getting some upgrades. A $70,000 grant awarded by Governor Kay Ivey will enable the university's police department to become one of the first regional networks for the digital conversion to the Project 25 or P25 digital radio system.
We have 4 different jurisdictions that we're responsible for. So we have Phoenix City, Dothan, Montgomery, and Troy. And this radio system will work at any of the 4 different locations.
McCall says the campus police department did not make this project happen on its own, but instead the department received help from all across the region.
The city of Dothan, the city of Phoenix City, and the city of Montgomery, we're all using shared resources to make this happen. And we also wouldn't have gotten this done without the Dale County Sheriff's Department.
The radios will be used in the police station, patrol cars, and also carried on the individual officers.
These new radios not only improve officer communication, but they also come with some pretty impressive features, such as a GPS tracking system and a 30-second rewind feature.
Additionally, the radios can be used not just for emergencies, but also during events such as football games.
On game days for the fall football season, we bring officers from all 4 campuses here to work football games. And so when they arrive on campus, their radios will be working.
Troy's Office of Civic Engagement gave tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King at a service day at Troy Elementary School in January. And all that hard work paid off in the form of a new outdoor classroom unveiled in March. Brianna Jones gives us a look.
Back in January, the Troy University Office of Civic Engagement began a journey for an outside classroom for Troy elementary students, and on Tuesday morning, that journey was complete. Many gathered at the school to help thank everyone who devoted their time into turning a trail into a learning experience.
Yeah, the nature trail was here long before I arrived, and it was something that we've worked on in the past about roughly 7 years to revitalize. We've had to replace some bridges and things of that nature throughout the trail, but obviously we wanted an outdoor classroom, a true outdoor classroom, and this right here, working with the partnership with the university, we were able to accomplish that with very little cost.
And although to some, an outside classroom may not sound that important, Superintendent Lee Hicks explains why bringing nature to the students may be a big help.
Well, I think a lot of times, in education and as parents, we take things for granted. We assume that everybody learned the way that we always learned. But, many kids have never had the opportunity to come outside and actually experience nature. But any time that we have a partnership that goes hand in hand with Troy University and all the work that they put towards this, I mean, it's a plus for all our students here.
The university couldn't help if the schools didn't allow them to help. When you're working together, it takes 2 entities.
This is kind of the crown of it, the crown jewel of our nature trails, to be able to have an outdoor classroom so that you guys can come out here.
The new classroom is located in the back of the school near its playground, and now students can enjoy Mother Nature while being taught by their teachers. Brianna Jones, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University's Confucius Institute was established to help teach Chinese culture to Alabama residents, and apparently it's living up to that goal and has once again been recognized as one of the best Confucius Institutes in the world. Adoria Hughes has the story.
The Confucius Institute at Troy has been recognized for its many achievements, being named one of the top Confucius Institutes worldwide.
In 2017, we received the Confucius Institute of the Year in 2017. And all over the world, there are altogether more than 500 Confucius Institutes. And we are one of the 25 Confucius Institutes that won this honorable prize.
The Confucius Institute provides Chinese language and cultural education and forging economic development opportunities between Alabama and China, as well as cultural training for area businesses and members of the public.
Confucius Institute is an institute for just promoting Chinese culture and providing some non-credit courses to Troy students. Okay, and not only to the Troy students, but also we want to serve the state of Alabama.
The Confucius Institute also offers an exhibit for students who want to learn more about the Chinese culture.
The more people wanted to know about the Confucius Institute, the more they will come to visit our exhibition hall to have all kinds of non-credit course, and the more they will know that in fact the Chinese culture and the American cultures have so many things in common. That is what we want the people to know. We are within a big family, and we share so many things in common, and we can just improve ourselves, okay, through the cultural exchanges.
Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Confucius Institute helps educate about the language and culture of China through classrooms and schools throughout the state. And a group from one of those classrooms paid a visit to Troy to see the sights and meet the chancellor. Anna Kate Patterson has more.
On Tuesday morning, around 80 students from Baldwin Magnet School in Montgomery visited Troy University. These students are part of the Confucius Institute classroom at Baldwin and had the chance to see what the institute offers in Troy.
We want them to be well-grounded as it relates to Troy University and what's offered here. And a lot of these students, of course, represent other countries. If you look deep into their heritage, and I guess most Americans are, this is a great melting pot. It's reflected in the diversity of the magnet schools. But these are the outstanding students in that county. We want them to be aware of things like our cultural arts park, the great relationship that we share with colleagues in China, and to see for themselves some of the background of the language that they're studying.
Baldwin is the home of one of many Confucius classrooms in the state, classrooms that are attempting to help bridge the gaps between cultures.
I'm delighted through the great leadership of Dr. Iris Shue and the scholars who surround her that we're able to reach out and touch about 7,000 students in the state of Alabama through the CI and the CI classrooms. I think this is preparing them for the future. Currently, there are millions of students in China studying English. As small as this world is becoming, we best know as much as we can about China, its culture, and its language. And so I think this is our way of making a contribution to that growth.
Baldwin Assistant Principal Ryan Gockwitz feels this trip to Troy could help inspire continued interest in their Chinese studies.
Well, I know the best way to learn a language is to immerse yourself in it, and so to kind of see that culture and kind of put your hands on it gives something tangible for you to hold on to and look at. It kind of gives an excitement for the kids to want to learn more Chinese and learn more about the Chinese people and their culture.
Every semester, Troy University welcomes scholars from all over the world, including a group from China. Janae Jordan has the story.
Troy University takes pride in diversity and its international program. So on Thursday morning, Troy held its closing ceremony for the Teaching Excellence Fellows program that is partnered with Troy University's Chongcheng Normal University.
We've had 26 Chinese scholars visit for the last 3 months with the goal of improving their knowledge of the way the American system teaches.
The Chongcheng Normal University students are given an opportunity to increase the understanding of the U.S. culture and enhance their teaching skills, so when they return home, they will be able to understand both Chinese and American teaching.
We've taken them to the school systems. They visited some of the college classes that we've had, and I think they're going to bring away the strengths and weaknesses of our program, try to meld them with their program, and maybe get the best of both worlds.
One student from Chongqing Normal University talked about what she learned from the program.
I've learned a lot. Yeah, the first is teaching. And actually, I learned about the educational practice, teaching practice. Yeah, I have better understanding of the teaching strategy, teaching technology, and assessment.
The program provides academic instructions, mentoring from the faculty and staff in the United States, and cultural enrichment. Reporting from Hawkins Hall, Janae Jordan, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University's Chinese students had the chance to share the biggest holiday from their homeland with their fellow Trojans in February. Adoria Hughes has the story.
That's Happy New Year for those of you who don't speak Chinese. That was just one of the lessons taught at this year's Chinese New Year celebration Thursday night in the Trojan Center ballrooms.
The reason why we unite together here is that we always celebrate the Spring Festival with our families. However, we are on the other side of the earth, thousands of miles away from our family. And we introduce you guys, the Troy community, the Spring Festival. The reason that we believe that you are also our family, and we would like to enjoy this traditional, special Chinese New Year with you guys.
The Chinese New Year is also known as the Spring Festival in modern China, and during the New Year's celebration, individuals were able to learn the history behind the Chinese cuisine.
I learned about who invented the dumpling, some guy named Zhang Zhongyan. I can't say it right, but I know about the dumplings, about the dancing, the singing, and their culture. So being part of SGA was a great opportunity to be here for a second year to watch them, and learn something.
This year's Chinese New Year is the year of the dog, and the Chinese New Year is an occasion for Chinese families to gather with family and friends.
So the meaning of the Chinese New Year is like the family reunion to each other. So I really want people who come to this celebration not only learn from the Chinese culture, but also learn how to get along with your family members, how to deal with your relationship with your friends.
Adoria Hughes, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And the Chinese weren't the only students to celebrate their native country's New Year. Troy University's Vietnamese students celebrated as well. Stuart Bradley has the story.
This past Friday, the Vietnamese Student Association threw a celebration for Tet, also known as the Vietnamese Lunar New Year. To commemorate the New Year, which was dubbed Year of the Dog, the event focused on Vietnamese culture and traditions and sharing them with foreign friends.
Tet, or Vietnamese Student New Year, is for family, friends, and people you love to celebrate and hope for a better year.
Music and dancing would play very prominent roles, with traditional dances both introducing and ending the show, while Vietnamese music was constantly sung and played throughout the night.
New Year is to have fun, and you can really enjoy the party without real good music.
While being a celebration traditionally for the Vietnamese, the event was open for all students, as the tradition of the Lunar New Year is to share with others. Since some couldn't be at home in Vietnam to celebrate, the students wanted to open up their culture to others.
Here we have not only our friends, not only our family, but we have Trojans, we have people from different places from around the world, which help help us have a very warm and very lovely feeling that we share a special occasion far away from home.
Us being Alabama's international campus, it's diverse, and allowing them to share their culture and spread it to us as Americans, I think that we can all learn something from it, and I believe it's a special part here at Troy.
Stuart Bradley, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Usually when someone calls you destructive, it can be taken as an insult, but one Troy University alum wears the title as a badge of honor and shared the experiences that led to that description to students as the guest of this year's Journalism Symposium. Chelsea Law has the story.
Craig Pittman, keynote speaker of the university's annual Journalism Symposium, held many titles when he attended Troy University, but one particular title given to him was what brought him back to the campus to share his story to students Monday morning in the Trojan Center ballrooms.
I worked on the student newspaper, and we were reporting news stories at a time when the administration thought the newspaper should be a PR Oregon instead. And at one point, the dean of the journalism school told me I was the most destructive force on campus. And I don't think he meant it as a compliment.
Pittman and the writers of the Trop, the student-run newspaper on campus, reported on many controversial topics that Troy University administrators wanted to keep quiet.
I mean, we had stories about State Ethics Commission investigating the president of the university. We had stories about drug busts going on in the dorms. We had a story about how the university was maintaining a yacht to lobby legislators at a time when it was cutting salaries for the teachers. You know, those are all pretty big stories, and we just kept on reporting them anyway.
One student spoke about what they thought was the most important thing during the lecture.
I found very useful as a senior because I'm about to go into the workforce, so I need to learn how to, deal with difficult sources and people who are wanting to kind of chill the media and to kind of keep their image intact. And I think that was one of the biggest things that we learned here.
For any aspiring journalists who would like to do investigative reporting, Pittman had some advice he'd like to offer.
Just remember, the truth will set you free. It may make some people angry, though. But just bear in mind, as long as you're telling the truth, as long as you're telling people what's going on and you have the facts to back it up and preferably the documents to back it up, too, then you should just keep going and keep doing what you're doing.
Having the right clothes for the job could play a big part in landing your first job. However, for some students, getting their hands on a new suit is financially challenging, so Career Services helped out. Chelsea Law has the story.
Students got a chance to sift through some business casual to professional clothing items Wednesday morning. Career Services hosted their soft opening of the career closet on the 3rd floor of Bibb Graves, giving students the opportunity to maybe find that perfect outfit for upcoming job interviews and internships.
We've done a drive with faculty and staff who have donated items, and students can come in and take the items that fit them and keep it forever, up to 3 items apiece per semester.
For students who are looking to start building their closet with professional wear, Cole says that this may be a good place to start.
Well, some students, we hope it helps them financially if they don't have the extra income to invest in professional clothing, but also it's just their first time in actually building their professional wardrobe, so we want to help them get started.
If you're still needing help applying for jobs, internships, or just need career advice, Career Services has some services available to help.
We're available in Eldridge Hall to help with resumes, mock interviews, job searching. They can go to our website and they'll see Handshake in the middle of the page. That's where all our job postings and internships are, and they can go in Handshake and schedule appointments with us.
The Career Closet was only open for 1 day, but Career Services hopes that it'll hang around for much longer in the future. Chelsea Law, Troy. TrojanVision News.
On March 19th, a tornado ripped through the campus of Jacksonville State University. And while the Gamecocks were Troy's biggest rival in the past, in the present, Troy's student athletes worked to help Jack State. Zach Branner shows us how.
After a tornado tragically hit the campus of Jacksonville State, a group of Troy University student athletes are looking to help out.
So basically, we're collecting cleaning supplies, blankets, just household items, also cash donations. Pretty much just to give back to them, and with the tornado coming through, it kind of devastated their campus, and we just want to do anything we can to help.
SAG is accepting donations up until April 4th, 11 a.m. If you're interested in helping donating to JSU's Tornado Drive, please find a student athlete on campus and ask them what you can do to help.
Pretty much, athletes are everywhere walking around campus. If you go to the baseball games this upcoming week, we're going to have student athletes there, collecting donations. And you can just pretty much just find an athlete and you can give them an item and they'll turn it in.
The Student Athlete Advisory Committee, or SAC for short, helps out athletes on campus in addition to helping out in the community.
So SAC stands for the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and basically we act as a governing body for student athletes, and we represent them with regards to their overall well-being on campus. And then we also do community service and just try to get out in the community and give back.
If you're looking to donate, SAC is accepting cash donations and cleaning supplies. Zach Brenner, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Every spring, Troy University gives high school students a chance to see if Troy University will be the right college home for them after graduation. Taylor Pollock gives us a look at Spring Trojan Day.
On Saturday, Troy University's Trojan Day offered a chance for high school students to get a taste of what campus has to offer. In addition to tours of campus and facilities, a browse session created a way for potential new students to meet with faculty, staff, and other campus organizations.
This is when you can meet with faculty and staff. So not only do we have students on campus that are here, but we have the professors that have dedicated an hour of their day on a Saturday to come around and meet with students and really sell their program. So if they're not really sure what they want to do, they may see what that is in their future here today.
But this year's Spring Preview Day also showcased another important aspect of Troy University.
And we're pairing with Relay for Life this year. So Relay for Life is going on the university's Shack Quad, so they can actually join in that as well.
Students were offered the chance to participate in the university's Relay for Life walk, as well as enjoy the other activities set up at the event.
We always have a fall and a spring Trojan Day. Sometimes we pair them with football games or baseball games, but today we thought it would be really cool to show how the university gives back.
Although some students attending the event were not seniors, many of them are already considering Troy as a potential future college.
Yeah, it's my first time. I like the facilities, very nice, well maintained, nice grounds. You know, time will tell. All the clubs that they have set up, different organizations and stuff you can participate in, and I'm looking to come up here.
Taylor Pollock, Troy TrojanVision News.
In April, the faculty took some time to show they appreciate the students of Troy University. Lauren Harkson shows us how.
At some level, everyone enjoys a little appreciation now and then. On Wednesday, faculty and staff of Troy University showed their appreciation for the students. All-day free food and stickers were passed out on campus to say thanks.
Without students, we wouldn't have jobs, and so we really appreciate our students. And we want them to know. We have the stickers, too, that says, you know, we love our students. Those have gone out to the different campuses.
Besides the free gifts, students also have a chance to enter an essay contest to win even more.
We're giving out 4 book vouchers, $500 each, to write an essay, and the essays will be judged by faculty members and staff, and the deadline is by 14th of April.
But if you would rather chat than write, this day gives the chance for faculty and students to mix and mingle in a more relaxed social setting.
I like to talk a lot, so I really enjoy meeting new people, seeing old faces, new faces, seeing how people are, trying to catch up.
Besides the social aspect, I'm sure everyone can agree their favorite part of Student Appreciation Day is the free food.
My favorite part about Student Appreciation Day is the free food. You know, as a struggling college student, it's really nice to have a meal that I don't necessarily have to pay for. So the fact that we have free pizza out here on the quad is just awesome to me.
Troy University's main campus in the city of Troy was not the only one celebrating this annual event.
It's happening all over the Troy campuses. If you look at it again on our website, you'll see that there are all kinds of activities going all over what we might call Troydom. The empire, if you will, all over.
To learn more about Student Appreciation Day, you can visit their website at troy.edu/appreciation. Lauren Harkson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
In April, some young ladies vied for a title named after the Roman goddess of beauty. Brianna Jones has the details.
As summertime slowly approaches, women get to dust off those dresses from their closets and bring them out. It's been a year since the last Miss Venus pageant, so on Thursday night, it was time to crown a new queen. And who better to direct this program than a queen herself?
The Miss Venus pageant is a no-stress pageant. We've kept it simple, and we wanted there to be a pageant where all of our ladies would be able to compete. So it doesn't matter if you're married, single, whatever age you are. If you have children, just have to be a Troy University student at one of our Alabama branches. So we're very pleased to keep the pageant in a format where all of the ladies can compete.
The Miss Venus pageant is a fundraiser for Miss Troy University, better known as Madison Neal, as she prepares to compete in the Miss Alabama pageant. Although the Miss Venus winner doesn't get to compete, she still has roles to fill.
Well, we will give her opportunities she can do as much as she wants to. We'll, of course, would love for her to be in the Christmas parade, the homecoming parade, to speak at scholarship lunches, and, we'll give her every opportunity that we have that comes along that, that she's able to be there for.
And this year's Miss Venus pageant is
It was such a great moment. I honestly didn't expect it. There were so many amazing girls out here, and everybody looked so beautiful. So just getting called out was probably the best experience. I really want to get the Miss Venus name out there because it is a fundraiser for Miss Troy University. For her to go to Miss Alabama. So it's a really great thing to do for her, and it gives a lot of girls a lot of opportunities to get up here and get out of their shell.
It looks like there's another Madison Troy can now call their queen. Brianna Jones, Troy, TrojanVision News.
For 15 years, Al Ches played trumpet on Late Night with David Letterman. However, Ches spent a day in April playing with Troy musicians. Antonia Reese has the story.
We go to 9 o'clock, and then we go out at midnight, right? There you go.
Wednesday morning, Troy University hosted its second annual Mic Check Invitational, an event that provides high schoolers from across the state the opportunity to perform amongst clinicians and receive feedback, as well as the opportunity to pair up alongside college students and showcase their talents. The guest for the event this year was Al Ches, a professional trumpet player and entertainer who played lead trumpet for the David Letterman Show for 10 plus years. He also played alongside the likes of Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen, and Stevie Wonder. Ches expresses his purpose behind the clinical and what he hopes students will take away from it.
This is the second annual Mic Check Invitational. We're bringing high school students in, have them perform. We're giving feedbacks by clinicians on it, and giving the high school students and the college students a chance to interact and entertain and broaden their entertainment horizons. I love interacting with students, and you know, when I was in high school, somebody came to my school and, you know, gave a clinic, and, you know, it's all about giving back. You got to know, you know, where you came from, you got to know where you're going, and you have to give back to the people that are coming behind you to make the world a better place, and that's, I'm all in.
Ches, amongst the other clinicians, expressed one lesson that they hope students will take in from the clinic.
To not be safe, to go out of their box, to dream, and follow their dreams.
I really hope that everybody walks away with a renewed sense of inspiration. I just want them to be inspired and want them to pursue their dreams.
Ches has been working alongside the music department in preparation for the clinic since Sunday night. Antonio Reese, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University welcomed a renowned painter and scientist's works of art to the International Art Center in February. Paige Weeks has the story.
Tuesday afternoon, students met in Troy University's International Arts Center in order to hear from a biologist turned artist. Dr. Arthur Bacon spoke to students about his art gallery that is currently on display in the Arts Center.
Dr. Bacon has such a colorful history with his career in science and art, and just his experience with the civil rights movement.
Although Bacon has worked as a biologist for most of his life, he says he has been an artist all of his life.
The last 10 years as a biologist and college administrators was spent waiting for the day I could paint full time.
As you look at Bacon's work, you may notice a theme. Many of his paintings are portraits, and he says there's a reason for that.
Well, whatever condition or situation that the individual is in, I seem to empathize with that.
Many of Bacon's pieces reflect African American culture as well as moments from civil rights history. For many, Bacon's art was a refreshing view of the African American image.
When you see an African American woman in media, it's always the light skin, you know, racially ambiguous, like super duper pretty, and now you have like all these ranges of skin tones and bigger noses and curly hair, and it's beautiful. I love it.
And when asked about which painting is his favorite?
My favorite painting is the one I just finished.
And why?
And in March, Troy University welcomed the art of a Troy University alum. Nathaniel Rodriguez has that story.
Troy alumnus and working artist Madison Fail returned to his exhibit Prodigal Son in Troy University's International Arts Center Thursday night to tell his story before a crowd of students, faculty, and other visitors. Fail started making art as a child and went on to study at Troy, where he said his artistic knowledge was magnified.
And after that, I got out into the world and decided and willed myself that I'm going to be a working artist, and that's what I've done. And it took a lot of hard work and determination, but I think that we've done good.
Several visitors to the opening said that being able to see the work of a Troy graduate like Fail may serve as an inspiration to Troy students.
I think that they realize it doesn't have to be all about color. You know, it can be subdued and still have a huge impact. I mean, every single piece in this room gives you a different feeling.
My hope really is that Madison becomes the first of many alumni students that come back here to show their artwork.
And as for Fail, he said he wanted students to get validation in their passion for art by using him as an example.
A lot of kids who are artists and art majors get a lot of scrutiny from their peers and family saying that it's not a viable career, but I really wanted to be here tonight to let people know that it is. And Troy is a great place to get an art degree from.
Troy University's concert chorale is traveling to New York City to perform at the world-renowned Carnegie Hall. But before the group packed their bags for the Big Apple, they held their spring concert. Seth Hawk has the story.
Sunday afternoon, Troy University's concert chorale performed their spring concert titled "In Beauty May I Walk" at Bush Memorial Baptist Church. And according to the director of choirs, Diane Orlovsky, the preparation process for the concert started as soon as the spring semester began.
Well, we begin the very first day of the term, and we work 3 days a week, 50 minutes a day, and it's a lot of music to accomplish in a very short amount of time.
Orlovsky says there's a story behind every piece of music in the concert that corresponds with times of the day.
I think the narrative works. You know, sometimes when you string together a bunch of disparate pieces, you hope that people follow the arc of the narrative, and I think this one, it worked.
Although Orlovsky conducted the majority of Sunday's concert, she opened up the floor to Madison Smith, who conducted a piece she chose titled Celine's Boat. And according to Smith, conducting was definitely an experience she won't forget.
It was really cool. It was also very nerve-wracking just because this is what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a choir director and lead a group of people to create such beautiful music, and to finally have that opportunity in front of a crowd in a concert. And it's the piece that I've chosen myself in front of my peers and friends and colleagues, and it's a really special moment.
The final song of the concert is a song that the concert chorale will perform at Carnegie Hall, and Orlovsky says that this will definitely be the trip of a lifetime.
So excited. We're not paid for quite yet, but we're getting there, and we leave on May 22nd. We'll spend 3 days in rehearsal with the composer, Eric Barnum, and then we will perform on the evening of the 25th.
The next stop for Troy's concert chorale, Carnegie Hall in New York City. Seth Hawk, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Troy University dancers showed audiences a masterpiece in February. Shantia Wilson gives us a behind-the-scenes look at the dancers' spring performance.
Wednesday night, Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance finished their final dress rehearsal in preparation for the spring dance concert, Masterpieces Dance.
The inspiration of the show was masterpieces, but we decided to break the word apart, but also break the idea apart of what masterpieces are thought of and how people perceive masterpieces. So we wanted to incorporate what masterpieces are thought of and have these great staples and these great works that are known and famous and master works. And then we wanted to have brand new emerging works by world premieres, by new choreographers.
There will be 8 pieces performed by over 60 dancers. Troy University majors Kenzie Haynes and Michaela Wade shared their excitement about the variety of performances the audience can expect.
We do 8 total pieces, individual pieces, that highlight totally different things, every meaning of the word masterpiece. So anything from Starry Night to humans as masterpieces.
It's very energizing. There's highs and lows. There's modern. We have more energetic dances. We have very nice and refreshing dances where you can just relax and enjoy it. And I love it. I think it just has a great variety, and it's not mainstream, it's not flat. I think it's really cool.
The concert's opening show will be February 22nd in the Trojan Center Theater at 7. Shantia Wilson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And Troy University's Department of Theater and Dance presented the musical Company in March. Kaylin Pleasure gives us a look at the show.
Troy University Department of Theater and Dance presents Company. Everybody wants Bobby, and Bobby doesn't know what he wants.
This play is about a guy named Bobby. He's about 35. He lives in New York. He's surrounded by married couples, and he's the only one that's not married and doesn't really believe in commitment and hasn't found the one that he's committed to. So it's really just about dealing with commitment in the 21st century and how that is in our time today. Just trying to show how difficult it really is, to be married and to be in relationships and to
have commitment with all of social media and all that kind of stuff in the 21st century, and how that really can get in the way, and how being surrounded by people who are in different situations than us can affect our lives and how we look at things.
Troy University Theater and Dance is doing their final run-through on their show Company. Company will be presented to students, faculty, and staff, and also to the Troy community, Saturday through Tuesday, here at the TC Theater.
The whole play takes place within Bobby's head. So he is really trying to get something from everybody. He seems like a very quiet and reserved person, but there's this hidden conflict inside Bobby's head, and we're all fortunate enough to see it because of all the music and all the show and everything that's going on.
This play will be for a mature audience. Tickets are $10 and $5 with Troy student ID.
And that's our semester review. Thanks for joining us.